Good day, welcome to Merlin. What I would like to introduce today is the Penthalon arrows from Bearpaw. Now, some may be, or some people may not be aware that just recently we've took on the distributor and main dealer for Bearpaw products. Now, their product range is many and extensive, and over the coming weeks and possibly months, due to the amount of products that Bearpaw produce, we'll be doing videos of the bows, the accessories, the arrows, and the targets. So, what I'd like to do today is to actually go over some of the arrows that Bearpaw have done and compare them and give you an insight into the beautiful finish and the strengths of these particular arrows. Bearpaw primarily produce two diameters. They do a slimline and a standard. Now, on the slimline versions, the Bearpaw nocks and points are specific to their arrows. That means the nocks fit in directly into the end of the shaft, but if you tried to use an Eastern G-knock or something like that, it would just slightly fall out. So on the slimline arrows, the Bearpaw nocks and pushing inserts are specific to their particular arrows. When we go on to the larger diameter arrows, everything fits from any of the main manufacturers. It will take our nocks, it'll take Eastern super nocks, it'll take standard inserts and standard screw-in points that are many and varied from different manufacturers. So the difference between the slimline and the main line of arrows is the internal diameters. The slimlines have a slightly different internal diameter, so require Bearpaw specific nocks and points. Now what we'll do, we'll go over each and every one of these arrows to start with, because there's quite a few. We've got this one here is the traditional slimline. It is just a black carbon arrow. It is 100% carbon, K3 carbon. There is no glass weave or bulking material up in these arrows. The only added material to these arrows is the resin that they are made with. So the material on all of Bearpaw's arrows are carbon, with obviously the resin content that's required to put them together. Now these ones here, the slimlines are quite nice. This traditional slimline goes from a 350 grain right up into 600. We do some lighter ones which can go from 1300 up to 1600 in spine. That means that you've got a carbon arrow here that comes in traditional and black that will go down to bow weights for recurves from 30 to 40 pounds. Now compared to other manufacturers, you'll find it's difficulty sometimes to get a carbon arrow to come out of a traditional bow. So Bearpaw with these Penthalon shafts have made it quite nice that you can get the lightweight spines that will cover the lighter weight recurve bows. So all of their arrows have got quite a good spine selection. The next one they do, we do in the slimline a wooden wrap. Now this, obviously people like this, it's the same, particularly the same arrow, it comes in the same spines. You can check on the website all the different spines. We do stock all of these. Price comparison over all of the Bearpaw arrows you'll find very competitive with any of the major brands. So you're not going to be paying any premiums for these arrows. The straightness varies between the types of arrows and the diameters, like on all of them, between 003 and 006 straightness, which is normal between all of the different shaft manufacturers. The reason this happens, that there is the tolerances, a little bit of insight into carbon arrows, is that you can never guarantee to make a straight arrow. And what happens that when these come off the protruding or the wrap process that these are used, you cannot guarantee the straightness for the curing. So what happens is the very ones that don't come out very straight go into the 6/8 and you know, straightness thous per inch, and then the really high selected ones that come perfectly straight you pay a premium for. But they can't throw arrows away, so what they do, they brand them. Every manufacturer does it. I mean, if you look at the Carbon Express arrows that people are shooting, you know, dime coins at 50 meters, the tolerances of those arrows are superb, but they've gone through a massive selection process of straightening, and there is a lot of throwaway arrows from that. So the premium that you're buying is through all the selections. But for these arrows to be produced up to between 3 and you know, 003 and 006 are excellent for the all we need for traditional shooting. That is the Slimline. So we do that in both basic black, and we do it also in a nice wood finish. The next one along the line is the traditional Extreme. Now this don't come in as many spine choices. It goes from 350 up to 600. 600 is quite good for bow weights up to probably including 45 or 50 pounds. So you still got a traditional arrow here. It's a bigger diameter. It's got a nice pine wrap on there, and that also comes in a traditional black. The next one along that they do, which I think is a beautiful arrow, is bamboo. And this is the standard diameter, which will take all of your standard Eastern components, or our MyBow components, or anybody's components, standard pushing inserts, standard pushing things. Now this one, on the bamboo, goes up to from 350 spine right up to 800. Now 800 is good because that's going to get you in your 35 and 40 pound bow classes at 28-inch draw length. The next one along is quite an interesting one. This is the Heavy Hunter. Now it goes up to 600 spine, but the nice thing about this arrow is that on the wrap, which you'll look up closely, is that it's got a nice footed appearance. It's a very interesting looking arrow. The tolerance on straightness on these is 0.06, and it's not a super light arrow, but it is comparable with any of the light speed type of arrows that Eastern make. That's the Heavy Hunter. Now there's another one called the Hunter Extreme. This has got a more conventional carbon wrap on it. It's just a process. It's over wrapped with a woven cloth. It's still 100% carbon. The spines on these go from 300 up to 800 again, which you'll be able to get your lightweight bows. There is one that represents the weight. It's a really heavy weight arrow, and represents similar to shooting a wooden arrow. And Byron Ferguson had shot these and said the characteristic and weight are similar to shooting a wooden bow. Another thing that Bearpaw on these arrows proclaim is that they are super tough. They are extremely tough shafts. Now each one of the arrows has a carbon weave inside the unidirectional carbon to act as a anti-splitting. So tough shafts. You know, customers have been using these for a few months now, and I think the feedback from Germany that they have very little breakouts and splinters. So all of the arrows that are made by Bearpaw on these Penthalon branding are extremely tough. You're not going to get splinters or breakouts as easily on these arrows as you would on some of the arrows that are out there on the market. So just as a quick overview then, these are just a few. I think we're showing 6 of the arrows that Bearpaw are coming out under these brand. I think there's going to be 8. As they come through, we will explain more about them, but you've got a nice choice of shafts, and more interestingly, the finishes on these are extremely nice. Pricing very competitive. You're not going to be paying more for these shafts than any other make or brand of shaft on the market. And as I say, apart from the Slimline arrows, all of the other arrows with diameters will take just general components. So I'm going to be shooting a bit of traditional this year. I'm going to pick one of these up, and probably will carry on with a video a bit later on with shooting out in the woods. But for the time being, this is just the start of an overview of the Bearpaw products that we were very pleased to take on board. And as I say, there's many and varied of them. We'll be going through the arrow shafts. Bearpaw, also interested to note, is it's a company that specialises and built his business up on traditional archery. It's very rare, and I don't think there's another company like it that actually focus purely on traditional archery. They don't do any compound bows. The recurve they do are all wooden recurve bows. So we're proud to have this brand because it is a specialist brand to look after us traditional archers out there, and we've got the whole range of Bearpaw products in and coming in through gloves, tabs, targets. The 3D targets are beautiful, we've got some of those in, but this is just a short video just to introduce these arrows. Please go onto our website, it will explain more about the shaft. They are in stock, they're well worth a try, and we hopefully, and you can look forward to more videos covering the whole of the Bearpaw product between now and Christmas. So that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed this little video. If you've got any questions, you've got our helpline, but you can have a look on the website to get some more detailed products. So take care, good shooting, and see you in the next video.